keep on strive. Never give up. You've got to keep up the fight. Never give up. You've got to keep on strive.
All right, shalom, shalom. This video I'm doing is going to be about reparations, all right? Because apparently there's a lot of reparations talk going on. And a lot of, inside a lot of videos or articles that have to do with reparations, there's a lot of chatter, especially from racist Christians, talking about, we don't owe you guys anything, you guys need to work for your money and blah, blah, blah. We don't owe you nothing. So I'm going to do a video on that right quick. I'm going to make this video no more than 15 minutes so I can just get into it real fast, all right? First things first, I haven't been doing any videos because I live on a homestead now. So I moved way out to the boonies. I live on a homestead, and I have goats and chickens and all types of animals. And pretty much, I don't really have too much time to be sitting down doing videos anymore. But today, I found the time. All right? A lot of my books that I'm going to use today, you can download them on my PDF website. So I'll put the link inside the description of the video. So all the books, I have a lot of books. So you can download all the books on my website. All right, some are $1, $2. They're pretty cheap. All right. So let's get into it. We're going to start off in Genesis. All right, Genesis chapter 15. Now, when I show these scriptures to Christians, most of them, they don't want to hear it. All right, let's start it here. Genesis chapter 15, verse 15. No, 13. Here it is. Let's start at 12. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abraham, and lo, and horror, great darkness fell upon him. And he said unto Abraham, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve I will judge, and afterwards shall they come out with great substance. Great substance is reparations. Great substance is reparations. Okay? That's what great substance is. It's reparations. Let me see if let me go back. Great substance is reparations. That's what that is. And it says that the Israelites will be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they will afflict them for 400 years. Now, if you show this to a Christian, they'll say, no, that means that's what happened in Egypt. Because this was before the captivity in Egypt. So Christians they'll clearly say, well, no, this is pertaining to Egypt. Even though if you do the research, we wasn't in captivity in Egypt for 400 years. It was actually like 215, and it was sojourning. And if you get the Septuagint, or actually inside this book, it'll actually tell you 430 years. So there's two captivities. Matter of fact, let me see it real fast without getting distracted. 430 years. See if that'll pop up real quick. Exodus. There it is. There it is. Exodus 12:40. Now this is talking about the captivity of Egypt. Now the sojourning of the children of Israel who dwelt in Egypt was 430 years. So this is talking about Egypt, because it says specifically Egypt, sojourning of the children of Israel. That doesn't mean captivity. That means living amongst. Living close to them or living amongst them. That's what that means. All right. 430 years. So this is talking about Egypt. Right. Now back to Genesis 15. This is talking about 400 years of captivity in a strange land. Egypt was not a strange land to the Israelites. It was not a strange land. They've been back and forth to Egypt, so it was not a strange land. Okay, so let's just say Christians say that this is pertaining to Egypt, which is not. They'll argue this until the freaking casket drops. Okay, now let's get Acts 7:6. This is, I believe, Luke wrote Acts, right? Acts 7:6. This is the New Testament, right? This is the New Testament. So now you cannot say anything about this being Egypt because this is the New Testament. So how can Luke be having a vision of something that's going to happen that already happened? You see? So if you show this to a Christian, they'll say, no, he was having a vision of something that already happened. That's what they'll tell you, okay? And God spake on this wise, that his seed should sojourn in a strange land, and they should bring them in bondage and entreat them evil for how long? 400 years. 400 years. Now let's get the next verse. Let's see if it let me get the next verse. Let's just read the full chapter. The next verse. And God's and the nation whom they shall be in bondage will I judge, said the Most High. And after that, they come forth and serve me in this place. So, and the nation whom they shall be in bondage, I will judge. I will judge, and after that they should come forth and serve me in this place. So once again, that his seed should sojourn in a strange land, and they should bring them into bondage and entreat them evil for 400 years. So this is another prophecy that now Luke is having in the New Testament, that the Israelites will go into a strange land and go into captivity for how long? 400 years. And the nation who had them in captivity, he is going to what? He's going to judge. Now, this right here should be the smoking gun. But for a lot of people, a lot of Christians, they're so racist that they can't, their racism won't allow them to see the truth. Now, let's bring up another coincidence. You ready? HR 1242. HR 1242. Look at this. 400 years of African American History and Commission Act. Now, you know they doctored it up. That means 400 years of African American captivity. Because we didn't get here on our own, right? We got kidnapped. We got enslaved here, right? So, if you start off at 1619, 2019 is when all hell broke loose, right? And right now the nations are being judged. But they are so racist that they cannot fathom that they're going to have to pay for slavery. Instead, what they're doing is they're saying, no, the rapture is going to come take us out of our judgment. Christians, you have to pay for this slavery. Now, there's something else called the doctrine of discovery. That's a whole nother subject. You guys can go research the doctrine of discovery, what Christianity is. Christianity is a very wicked religion. They promote slavery. They promote wickedness. They promote idolatry. They promote paganism. That's why most Christians celebrate what? Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving. Christians are pagans. Now, that's a whole nother subject that I can go into later on. But for now, I'm trying to put pieces together that Christians, you think that you're not going to have to pay reparations. And the main people who are against reparations is Christians. So they're trying to act like they're righteous, but really they're evil and wicked. They're ministers of Satan. So, and to prove it, you show the wickedness of Christianity and how they treat slaves. Now, I'm going to go into a book called The Religious Instruction of the Negro. If you guys want to download this book, it's on my PDF store. It's right here. Let me see if this is working right. It's right here. This is, let me put that right here. Hold on. Put it right here. This is a book. I have this book. It's on my website. You can download it. And so you can see what I'm working with. All right. Now, HR 1242. Remember, we did the Genesis chapter 15, the 400-year captivity. Acts 7:6, 400-year captivity. And then we're going to go HR 1242, 400 years captivity, African American history, which really means Israelites. 400 years. Now, is this all a coincidence? No, it's not a coincidence. The Most High put this right in our faces. But Christians, they won't see this because they are so full of racism and hate. They will never, ever, ever tell the truth. They're going to keep going with white Jesus. Even though we know that the Messiah wasn't a white guy, they still put the picture up. And when you try and tell them, hey, the Messiah wasn't a white guy, they say, oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Oh, he doesn't have a color. It doesn't matter. If it doesn't matter, why did you change? Why did you put all these white characters of the Messiah? And there's a scripture that prophesies that. 1 Maccabees 3:48. 1 Maccabees 3:48. I don't want to get it because I don't want this video to go too long. Okay? Now we're going to get into this book called Religious Instruction of the Negroes. Okay? Here it is. This is going to be page 23. You guys can download this on my website. I'll put the link to the book on the description. All right? Let's go. The general law, both of humanity and Christianity, is kindness. So you see, it's kindness. Gentleness and compassion towards all mankind, of what nation or condition soever they be. And therefore, we are to make the exercise of those amiable virtues or choice and desire, and to have recourse to severe and rigorous methods unwillingly and only out of necessity. And of this necessity, you yourselves remain the judges, as much as they receive baptism as before. So what they're saying is that if they find a slave or anybody in a bad state, they can do whatever they will. They have the discretion either to treat you bad or treat you good. And either way, it's going to be all good under the laws of Christianity. And isn't that what they have done to us? Now we're going to go down to 3 here. That these things may make the greater impression upon you, let me beseech you to consider yourselves not only as masters, but as Christian masters. You see that? Christian masters, who stand obliged by your profession to do all that your station and condition enable you to do towards breaking the power of Satan and enlarging the kingdom of Christ. So in the mind of a Christian, they had to tell themselves that the slaves were Satan worshipers. That's why they had to beat them and rape them and murder them and hang them and do all these wicked things to them. All right? Put into your hands of helping on this work by the influence which God has given you over such a number of heathen idolaters. So the Christianity excuse of enslaving us, the Israelites, is that we were idolaters and they had to break us down and rape us and murder us and hang us and treat us evil for how long? 400 years. This is the law of Christianity. Let's keep going. Number of heathen idolaters who still continue under the dominion of Satan. In the next place, let me beseech you to consider them not barely as slaves, and upon the same level with laboring beasts. This is the doctrine of Christianity, people. This is the doctrine of Christianity. So when a black person or any type of person like to boast about being a Christian, I like to combat them with stuff like this. This is in their work. This is in their documents. This book right here, I did a video on this book. It's called How to Turn a Negro into a Christian. You can go watch that video. It's on my page. But let me show you how important this book was to Christians. Let me show you how important this book is to Christians. It's so important that they put it in Congress. Look at this. Entered according to the Act of Congress in the year 1842 by C.C. Jones in the office of the Clerk of District Court of the United States of the District of Georgia. And these are the numbers. This is proof that this book was put into Congress. I turn Negroes into Christians. This is how wicked Christianity is. So you guys got to understand, this is what we're dealing with. When you hear a Christian talking online and talking about, well, we believe in Jesus, this is also what they believe in too. They also believe that we're beasts, and they had every right to enslave us and murder us and kill us. All right, now let's get another book, and then I'm going to end this lesson real short. This is going to be the Apocalypse of Abraham. All right, Apocalypse of Abraham, chapter. We're going to start off at. I did these verses in other videos before, but I guess I'll go to them again. If you look at chapter 30, this is going to be plagues that are set against the heathen. And he said unto me, I will explain to you the things you desired in your heart, for you have sought to know the 10 plagues which I prepared against the heathen. Now, these plagues are happening right now as we speak. When you see all these tragedies happening and all these deaths and storms and earthquakes and weird things and the voices in the sky, these are plagues that are sent for the heathen. This is why the Christian church, they don't like to read these books, because it's their destruction. It's their judgment for what they have done. So they don't like to talk about their judgment and the wickedness of Christianity. All right. So this is why they take these books out. This is why Christians don't even know about these type of books. This is called the Pseudepigrapha. There's volume 1 and volume 2 of the Lost Books. You can download this on my website. I believe it's like $2. You can download this on my website. There's 2 books. They're wonderful books. You have to use these books. And let me show you why you have to use these books. Let's get chapter 31. And then, so this is what's going to happen after all the plagues. And then I will sound the trumpet out of the air, and I will send my chosen one, which is the Messiah, having in him one measure of all my power. So the Messiah is not the Most High, even though you can equate it to, because the Most High said he came down in flesh, but there's also a separation. The Most High is saying his chosen one is only going to have one measure of his power, which is the Messiah. And he will summon my people. Summon, let me make this bigger. And he will summon my people who were humiliated by the heathen. Who were humiliated by the heathen? Black people. We are humiliated. You know, they put up all these things of black on black crime, and we got the highest crime rate, and we kill each other, and we got the most abortions, and we die of sickle cell, and we are a laughing stock of the world, and this is what they have done. They have humiliated us. And they like it. Christians, they love it. They love it. All right, now let's go down to 32. Remember, you guys can read all this on your own. You can download this book on my website. I'll put the links. Therefore, hear, Abraham, and see, behold, your 7th generation shall go with you, and they will go out into an alien land, and they will enslave them and oppress them as for 1 hour of the impious age. Now, I did the numbers on 1 hour of the impious age. Remember, I believe it's 1 day is 1,000 years to the Most High, right? Well, I did the numbers, and 1 hour of the impious age comes out to 400 years. That's what that comes out to. But of that nation whom they shall serve, I am the judge. And the Lord said this too. Have you heard, Abraham, what I told you, what your tribe will encounter in the last days? That's the end days, the last days. So in the last days, the Israelites would be in captivity in a strange land. That's what will happen to the Israelites. So Christians like to say, well, no, We're the new people. No, you're not, because Christians were not enslaved. Christians have not been enslaved and hung and beaten and made laughing stocks. All right? Abraham, having heard and accepted the words of the Most High in his heart. So Abraham said, dang, okay, I understand. The Israelites will be in captivity in the last days. Now let's get another book called Jacob's Ladder. Jacob's Ladder. This is the Ladder of Jacob. This is inside volume 2. All right. Once again, you can download this whole book on my website. All right. Let's read what was going to happen to the Israelites in the last days. All right. Right here. The Most High will raise up kings up from the grandsons of your brother Esau, and they will receive all the nobles of the tribes of the earth who will have maltreated your seed. And they will be delivered into his hands, and he will be vexed by them. And he will hold them by force. What's that? Captivity. It will hold them by force and rule over them. And they will not be able to oppose him until the day when his stock will go out against them to serve idols and to offer sacrifices to the dead. He will do violence to all those in his kingdom who will be revealed in such guilt, both to the highest man from your tribe. Here it is. Know Abraham. Matter of fact, let me make this bigger. Know Jacob. Now this is talking to Jacob. So Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So now Jacob has had the same vision that his father had. Jacob had the same vision that his father had, that in the last days the Israelites would be in captivity in a strange land for 400 years. Know, Jacob, that your descendants shall be exiles in a strange land, and they will afflict them with slavery and inflict them wounds on them every day. But the Lord will judge the people who they slave. You see what I'm saying? Now, doesn't this line up with Genesis 15, 13? And said unto Abraham, know for of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in the land that is not theirs, and they shall serve them, and they shall afflict them for 400 years. Yes. And after we come out of the 400-year captivity, we come out with great substance. What does that mean? Reparations. Reparations. That's what that means. Acts 7:6 says the same exact thing. This is the New Testament. So you guys cannot get mad and say, well, that doesn't mean that. Oh, it does mean it. And God spake on this wise, that his seed should sojourn in a strange land, and that they should bring them into bondage and entreat them evil for how long? 400 years. 400 years. HR 1242, African Americans, 400 years. And to the Christians who say, well, we didn't have nothing to do with this. Well, that wasn't us. That was our ancestors. Okay. Numbers chapter 14, verse 18. The Lord is long-suffering and of great mercy. Excuse me, let me get this. The Lord is long-suffering and of great mercy, forgiving iniquity and transgression, and by no means clearing the guilty, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and the fourth generation. So all you Christians, mainly the European white people, the third and fourth generations of your forefathers were all slave masters. So now you guys now have to pay. That's what it is. And no matter what you say, you cannot get out of that. The rapture is not going to, there's no rapture for you guys. You're not going to get out of it. All right. So I'm going to land my plane there. All praises to the Most High. And I'll put the links to the books that I used on this video so you guys can get it and you guys can download these books so you guys can use the same scriptures that I'm using. All right. Shalom. All praises to the Most High.